Have you ever stopped to wonder if there's something you're doing, without even realizing it, that's quietly nudging people away? You know, those little habits that no one mentions out of kindness, but they still leave a mark. As we grow older, we settle into routines that feel like home. Some are beautiful, grounding, even wise, but others, they can become blind spots, dimming the warmth and respect you've spent a lifetime building. In this video, we're diving into 12 subtle behaviors that might be creating distance between you and the people you care about, family, friends, even strangers. These aren't about your looks or your age. They're about the small choices that shape how others see you and, more importantly, how you feel about yourself. I'm not here to point fingers or make you feel bad. Think of this as a gentle nudge, a mirror held up with care, asking, is this habit still serving me or is it pushing people away? The best part? Most of these are fixable with a little awareness and a few small shifts. By the end of this video, you'll walk away with clarity, confidence, and practical ways to show up in the world with more grace and connection. So, stick with me, it's worth it. You might discover one tiny change that transforms how others experience you and how you experience yourself. Let's dive in. 1. Letting personal care slip. Imagine you're at a family gathering, laughing over old stories, but you notice your niece hesitates before hugging you. Or maybe a friend's visit ends sooner than expected and you're left wondering why. It could be something as small as wearing the same sweater for days, skipping a shower, or letting your nails grow ragged. These seem like minor oversights, but they carry weight. Personal hygiene isn't just about staying clean. It's a quiet declaration of self-respect, a way to show the world you're still engaged, still vibrant. As we age, life shifts, energy wanes, routines loosen, and it's tempting to shrug and think, who's got time for that? Maybe you're tired, or it feels like nobody notices anyway. But here's the truth. People do notice. Your kids, grandkids, even strangers pick up on the unbrushed hair, the faint odor, the wrinkled shirt. They won't say it. Nobody wants to embarrass you, especially younger folks who struggle to find the words. But they adjust. They sit a bit farther away, cut visits short, or pull back from physical closeness. It's not about rejecting you. It's about the message your self-care sends. When you let these habits slide, it can feel like you've given up a little. And that shifts how others treat you. The good news? You don't need to transform into a fashion icon or douse yourself in cologne. Small acts, a fresh shirt, a quick comb-through, a trimmed nail, speak volumes. They say, I'm still here. I value myself, and I value you. These aren't about vanity. They're about dignity, about carrying yourself with the grace you've earned. When you show up for yourself, others show up for you with warmth, respect, and a desire to stay close. Try this. Pick one hygiene habit to refresh. This week, like washing your favorite jacket or brushing your hair before heading out. Notice how it feels to step into the world with a little more confidence. You might be amazed at the warmth you invite back. 2. Blurting out unfiltered thoughts. Have you ever let a comment slip, something you thought was funny or honest, only to see someone's face tighten or their eyes dart away? As we age, that inner voice whispering, maybe don't say that, can fade. You might feel liberated, thinking, I've lived long enough to speak my truth. There's beauty in that confidence, but there's a fine line between candor and cruelty. When you cross it, even unintentionally, it stings. Maybe you've remarked on a friend's weight, critiqued a relative's parenting, or tossed out a blunt opinion about someone's life choices, brushing it off with, I'm just keeping it real. You might even chuckle, expecting them to laugh too. But to them it lands like a jab. They won't call you out. Most people swallow their discomfort to avoid conflict, but they pull back. You'll notice it in the shorter phone calls, the skipped invitations, or the way they steer conversations to safer topics. They still love you, but they're guarding themselves from those careless zingers. This habit often grows from a place of pride in your experience, but unchecked, it builds walls. Wisdom isn't just about speaking truth, it's about delivering it with kindness. Before you share that honest thought, pause and ask, is this helpful? Is it kind? Would I say this to my grandkid? Your words carry weight, especially now when people look to you for guidance. Use them to uplift, to spark connection, not to push people away. The fix is simple but powerful. Listen more, judge less. Swap that blunt remark for a question. Ask about their perspective, their feelings. When you show you care about their world, they lean in. Try this. In your next conversation, catch yourself before a critical comment and instead say, "Tell me more about that." Watch how their face softens, how the room feels warmer. You'll build bridges, not barriers, and your wisdom will shine brighter than ever. If this resonates, drop number 2 in the comments. I'd love to know you're with me. 3. Sticking to outdated wardrobe choices. There's a cozy comfort in the familiar. Same morning coffee, same evening walk, same clothes you've worn for years. But when it comes to your wardrobe, what feels like home to you might be telling a different story to the world. That favorite shirt from the 90s, those pants that sag or cling too tight, or shoes worn thin, they're more than just clothes. They signal whether you're still connected to the present, still invested in how you show up. This isn't about chasing TikTok trends or squeezing into skinny jeans. It's about dressing like the vibrant person you are today, not a version of you from decades past. As we age, our bodies change. Weight shifts, posture softens, even our skin tone evolves. Clothes that once flattered might now look careless, and people notice. They won't say, "Hey, your sweater's outdated," but you'll see it in their glances, the way they hesitate to compliment your look or how they treat you with less reverence. It's not about superficiality, it's about the dignity your appearance conveys. When you wear clothes that fit well, feel good, and reflect your current self, something magical happens. People respond with admiration, not because you're trendy, but because you're present. You're saying, "I still care about myself, and I'm here for this moment." A well-fitting jacket, a shirt in a color that lights up your face. These small choices spark connection. They tell your kids, your friends, even strangers, that you're engaged, not stuck in the past. Start small. This month, pick one new piece, like jeans that hug your frame just right, or a sweater that feels like you. Try it on, stand tall, and notice how it shifts your energy. You don't need a full wardrobe overhaul, just a nod to the present. Comfort and care can coexist, and when they do, you radiate a quiet confidence that draws people closer. Step into that power and watch how the world responds. 4. Taking over conversations. You've lived a full life, decades of stories, lessons, and hard-earned wisdom. It's only natural to want to share, to pass on what you've learned. But sometimes in that eagerness, you might unintentionally drown out everyone else. Picture this. You're at a family dinner, someone mentions a topic you know well, and you dive in, a story, advice, a perspective. Before you know it, 20 minutes have passed, and no one else has gotten a word in. You meant to connect, but the room feels quieter, the energy flatter. This habit often comes from a good place, a desire to help or be heard. But when you dominate conversations, others feel sidelined. You'll notice it in the subtle signs, shorter chats, fewer invites, or people hesitating to share their thoughts. They're not pulling away because they don't value you. They just want to feel seen too. Younger folks especially might already feel a gap between generations. When you take up all the air, it widens that gap, leaving them unsure how to connect. The beauty of aging is your perspective, but it shines brightest when you pair it with listening. Let others speak, ask questions, embrace the pauses. When you give space, people lean in, they trust you, seek your input, and value your presence more. It's not about saying less, it's about hearing more. Think of it like a dance. You don't need to lead every step to shine. Try this. In your next conversation, aim to ask 3 questions before sharing your own story. Maybe it's, what do you think about that? Or, how's that going for you? Watch how their eyes light up when they feel heard. You'll feel the connection deepen, and they'll walk away eager for the next chat, not bracing for a lecture. Your wisdom doesn't need to fill the room, it just needs to invite others in. That's when it truly lands, creating bonds that last. 5. Ranting about kids these days. It's hard not to notice the differences. Teens glued to screens, 20-somethings chasing careers you don't understand, or 30-somethings making choices that seem wild to you. You might mutter, "In my day we worked harder," or "They've got no clue about the real world." It feels like a harmless observation, maybe even a bit of nostalgia. But when these comments become a habit, they hit harder than you realize. To younger people, your kids, grandkids, or even strangers, they don't sound like wisdom. They sound like dismissal. You might think you're just pointing out the obvious, but constant criticism of kids these days builds a wall. Younger folks won't argue, they'll just retreat. You'll notice it in the surface-level chats, the way they avoid deeper topics, or how they share less about their lives. They're not rejecting you. They're protecting themselves from feeling judged. Every generation looks at the next with a raised eyebrow. That's not new. But when judgment becomes your default, it doesn't make you sound wise. It makes you sound stuck, like you're shouting from a world that no longer exists. The antidote is curiosity. Instead of critiquing, ask, "What's it like growing up with all this tech?" Or, "What's driving your choices these days?" Those questions don't just open doors, they fling them wide. You're not saying you agree with everything, you're saying you care enough to understand. That's where connection happens. Your value isn't in proving the past was better, it's in being a bridge, someone who listens across generations. Try this. Next time you're tempted to vent about today's youth, pause and ask a question instead. Maybe it's, what's something you're excited about right now? Watch how their guard drops, how they light up sharing their world. You become the elder they trust, not avoid. Your influence grows not from being right, but from being open. That's the kind of wisdom that sticks. 6. Missing modern manners. Ever been in a quiet coffee shop when someone's loud phone call cuts through the calm? Or maybe you've dodged someone standing smack in the middle of a busy aisle, oblivious. To the crowd, these small moments matter, and as we age, it's easy to miss how much social norms have shifted. What was normal decades ago, like chatting loudly in public or playing a video without headphones, now raises eyebrows. People won't confront you. They'll just step around, glance away, or avoid you next time. But those fleeting reactions add up, shaping how others see you. Modern etiquette isn't about being prim or proper, it's about respect for shared spaces. As we age, we might not notice our volume creeping up or how close we're standing in line. Maybe you're focused on your task, not realizing your cart's blocking the grocery aisle. These aren't intentional slights, but they send a message. I'm not aware of others. And in today's fast-paced world, people don't always give older adults a pass. They assume you should know better. The fix is simple. Pay attention. Watch how others navigate public spaces. Keep your phone on silent in waiting rooms. Step aside if you're pausing in a crowd. These small acts say, I'm still tuned in. I care about your experience. They earn quiet respect from strangers to family. Your grandkids notice when you lower your voice on a call. Neighbors admire when you keep walkways clear. It's a subtle way to show you're engaged, not detached. Try this. Next time you're out, pick one moment to be extra mindful, like checking your volume or moving to the side in a busy spot. Notice how people respond, how the air feels lighter. These aren't just manners, They're a form of grace, a way to move through the world with dignity. You'll stand out not as that older person, but as someone who brings ease to every space. That's a legacy worth leaving. 7. Oversharing health woes. We've all laughed at the cliché, a group of older folks swapping stories about creaky joints, new meds, or the latest doctor's visit. It's relatable. Aging brings physical challenges, and sharing them can feel like bonding. But when every conversation circles back to your back pain, your blood pressure, or that upcoming surgery, it shifts the dynamic. What starts as venting can become a weight on those around you, especially younger family members who feel helpless or overwhelmed. You're not wrong to want empathy. Your struggles are real, and you deserve to be heard. But when health talk dominates, it turns relationships into waiting rooms. Your kids or grandkids might not know how to respond. They can't fix your ailments, so they pull back, not out of apathy but exhaustion. You'll notice it in the shorter visits, the way they dodge certain topics, or how they keep things light to avoid another medical rundown. They love you, but they're craving connection, not a caretaker role. Balance is the key. Share your challenges with the right people, a close friend, a doctor, at the right time, but don't let them define you. Your life is still full of stories. The book you're reading, the neighbor's quirky dog, the recipe you nailed. These spark joy, not worry. When you focus on what lights you up, you invite others to do the same. Think of the people you love being around. They might mention a struggle, but they don't let it steal the show. That's what keeps conversations alive. Try this. In your next chat, share one non-health-related moment, maybe a funny observation or a question about their day. Notice how it shifts the energy, how you both feel lighter. You're not hiding your reality. You're showing there's more to you than your symptoms. That's what draws people closer, what reminds them you're still the vibrant soul they cherish. In a world that's already heavy, being someone who lifts the mood is a gift, one you can give every day. 8. Clinging to old beliefs. We all carry beliefs that shaped our lives, principles that guided our families, careers, and choices. They're like anchors, grounding us through decades of change. But as the world evolves, those anchors can harden into walls if we're not careful. Maybe you scoff at new technology, dismiss shifting cultural norms, or say, that's just how it is. When someone challenges your views, to you it's standing firm. To others, especially younger folks, it feels like you're shutting them out. This habit often stems from comfort in the familiar or fear of losing relevance in a fast-changing world. But when you dig in, refusing to even listen to new perspectives, it doesn't sound like wisdom, it sounds like resistance. Your kids or grandkids won't argue, they'll just stop sharing. You'll notice it in the guarded conversations, the way they avoid topics like politics, relationships, or modern values. They're not rejecting you, they're protecting themselves from feeling unheard. Staying open doesn't mean abandoning your core values. It means being curious enough to ask, why does this matter to you? Or what's different now? It's about making room for new ideas even if you don't agree. When you listen, really listen, you build bridges. Younger people start seeing you as someone they can talk to, not someone stuck in a bygone era. Your relevance isn't in holding tight to the past. It's in meeting the present with courage and humility. Try this. Next time you hear an idea that feels foreign, like a new take on work or relationships, ask one question to learn more. Maybe it's, what makes this important to you? Watch how their guard drops, how they open up. You might not change your mind, but you'll gain their respect, and sometimes you'll discover they're onto something you hadn't considered. That's the magic of staying a student of life. No matter your age, it's what makes you not just an elder, but a trusted guide. 9. Moving without spatial awareness. As we age, our pace naturally shifts. Steps slow, balance wobbles, and we might move more cautiously, totally normal. But what's less obvious is how our movements affect others. Picture this. You're in a bustling grocery store, pausing to read a label, your cart blocking the aisle. Or you stop mid-sidewalk to chat, unaware of the crowd weaving around you. These moments seem innocent. You're just focused on your task. But to others, they create friction, like small obstacles in their day. People rarely speak up. They'll sigh, step aside, or flash a quick glance. But over time, these interactions shape how they see you. Family might avoid shopping with you. Strangers might label you as that person who's always in the way. It's not about your age or speed. It's about awareness. When you move without noticing your surroundings, it suggests you're tuned out. And in a world that values consideration, that stands out. The fix is all about presence. You can move slowly and still be respectful. Step to the side when you pause, keep to one edge in a crowd, or check behind you before stopping. These small acts are a kind of grace, saying, I see you and I respect your space. They earn admiration, from grandkids who notice your thoughtfulness to strangers who appreciate the ease you bring. In busy places, airports, malls, even church hallways, this awareness sets you apart as someone who's engaged, not detached. Try this. Next time you're in a public space, pick one moment to be extra mindful. Maybe it's keeping your cart to one side or pausing off the main path. Notice how people respond, how the air feels smoother. It's not about rushing or pretending you're 30. It's about moving with dignity, showing you're still part of the world's rhythm. That quiet consideration speaks louder than you might think, turning everyday moments into chances to shine. 10. Joking in ways that don't land. A hearty laugh is one of life's greatest gifts, especially as we age. It lightens heavy moments, bonds us with others, and keeps us young at heart. But not all humor travels well across time. Jokes that slayed. At a 70s dinner party, maybe teasing someone's background, appearance, or choices can fall flat today. You might toss out a sarcastic quip or lean on an old stereotype, chuckling, "Oh, come on, it's just a joke." But to others, especially younger folks, it doesn't feel funny. It feels out of touch, even disrespectful. The world's changed. Today's culture prioritizes inclusion and empathy, and humor that punches down or leans on outdated tropes lands. Like a misstep, people won't correct you. They'll offer a polite smile, then keep their distance. You'll feel it in the awkward silences, the way they avoid deeper chats, or how they hesitate to laugh with you. It's not that humor's off limits. It's that the best jokes lift everyone up, not single anyone out. Great humor is timeless when it's kind. Think about what makes you laugh now. Maybe a clever observation or a story about your own quirks, self-deprecating humor, witty takes on everyday life, or playful banter that includes everyone. These connect no matter the generation. Before you joke, ask, is this kind? Does it bring us together? If it might sting, save it for your inner monologue. Try this. Next time you're tempted to tease, share a light-hearted story about yourself instead. Maybe a goofy mistake you made, or a funny moment from your week. Watch how people relax, how the laughter flows freely. You're not walking on eggshells, you're choosing joy over discomfort. That kind of humor makes you the person everyone wants at the table, the one who keeps the room warm and welcoming. Your age doesn't dim your spark, it amplifies it when you joke with care. Keep that light shining, and you'll draw people closer every time. 11. Playing helpless. When you're not aging brings real challenges. Tasks that once felt easy might now take more effort or care. That's part of the journey, and there's no shame in needing help. But there's a difference between genuine need and defaulting to, "Can you do it? I'm no good at this," when you're still capable. Maybe you hand off small tasks, like programming the thermostat or carrying a light bag, because it's easier to let someone else step in. At first, it feels harmless, but over time, this habit wears on those around you. Family and friends notice when you lean on them unnecessarily. They might smile and say, "No problem," but inside they can feel like caretakers, not loved ones. You'll see it in the subtle sighs, the way they hesitate to ask you to join tasks, or how they stop expecting you to try. This often stems from fear of messing up, looking silly, or not keeping up with the fast-moving world. But here's the truth. People admire effort far more than perfection. Your kids, grandkids, even neighbors beam with pride when they see you tackle something, even if it's messy. Reclaiming your agency isn't about pretending you're 20. It's about showing up with what you can do, whether it's learning a new phone app, carrying your own groceries, or following a recipe solo. These small wins build confidence and remind others you're still in the game. Ask for help when you truly need it, but don't let it become your default. That balance earns trust and respect. Try this. Pick one task you've been avoiding, like setting up that new remote or organizing a drawer, and tackle it this week. Celebrate the effort no matter the outcome. Notice how it feels to stand a little taller, how others respond with pride. You're not just capable, you're inspiring. The people who age well aren't the ones who never need help. They're the ones who know when to say, "I've got this," and mean it. 12. Insisting you're always right. After decades of life, tough choices, big wins, and lessons learned the hard way, it's natural to feel like you've earned your perspective. You've seen patterns, solved problems, and navigated a world that's thrown plenty at you. But when that confidence tips into, "I'm always right," it can quietly push people away. Maybe you correct someone's story at dinner, insist your way is the only way, or brush off new ideas with, "Trust me, I've been around longer." It feels like standing your ground, but to others, it's exhausting. This habit often comes from a need to feel secure in a world that's changing fast. But when being right overshadows connection, people stop engaging. They won't challenge you. They'll just nod, stay quiet, or avoid deeper talks altogether. You'll notice it in the shallow conversations, the way they withhold opinions, or how they sidestep debates. They're not conceding, they're checking out, because it's easier than arguing. True wisdom isn't about having all the answers. It's about knowing when to share and when to listen. When you leave room for others' ideas, your perspective carries more weight. People start seeking your input not because you dominate, but because you invite them to think. It's about holding your views with confidence, but also humility, saying, "I see it this way, but tell me your take." Try this. In your next discussion, let someone else have the last word, even if you disagree. Ask, "What do you think?" and really listen. Notice how the dynamic shifts, how they open up. You're not losing ground. You're gaining trust. The people we admire most aren't the ones who always win. They're the ones who listen, reflect, and guide without forcing it. Your voice matters more when it's calm, thoughtful, and open. That's the kind of presence that lingers, making you not just the elder in the room, but the one people turn to for wisdom that feels like home. Final thoughts. Take a deep breath and let these sink in. Which of these habits surprised you? Which feels like a nudge to grow? This isn't about shame. It's about seeing yourself clearly and choosing how you want to show up in the world. These behaviors don't define you. They're just patterns, and patterns can change. Aging well isn't about staying young. It's about staying connected, aware, and open to growth. You have the power to shift how you move through life. A kind word, a fresh shirt, a curious question. These small acts ripple outward, deepening your relationships and your sense of self. You're not just an elder, you're a source of warmth, wisdom, and inspiration. So take one step today. Pick one habit to tweak and see how it feels. Thank you for being here. Drop a comment below. Share one thing you're taking away or a habit you're ready to shift. Your thoughts fuel us to keep creating content like this. If this resonated, hit like, subscribe, and share with someone who needs to hear it. Let's keep growing together. See you in the next video.